Well, hello everyone. Here I'm back for part 7 of my series on a father's journey with a son who has a seizure disorder. So I'll jump right in here. We were coming up on his VNS surgery. Everything went well. They start him out, or after his surgery, he was overnight this one in the hospital. So after his surgery, I start him off on a low milliamp, I believe is what it is, at around 1, and then they start to increase it over the next 3 to 6 months to a year and a half, and eventually they get up to around 2.5 to 3.5 milliamps. That's the electrical pulse that goes up to the vagus nerve from the battery pack in his chest. So what happens there is it cycles on and off about every 2 to 3 minutes. So over the next year or two, we're not sure we see anything. The voltage is slowly being increased. But what is happening is that the clusters of seizures are happening nonstop every week, at least once a week, probably 3 to 4 times a month, maybe sometimes 5 a month, but we're to the point where we're giving them diastat almost religiously every single week during the next 3-4 years. We have behavioral issues, we have school issues, we have learning issues. This is all going hand in hand with everything. I would come home from work, my wife would, hey, you're sitting down with him to do his homework, and it was a chore to get him to sit there and concentrate on it. With the combination of all the meds he was on, the brain surgery, the VNS, just his seizures every single night in his sleep. It was let's just say it was a very stressful time, as everything was up until now. And Romans 5:3 states that through trials and tribulations produce perseverance, perseverance, character, and character, hope. And hope does not disappoint. And really, that's all we have is hope that something better on the horizon, some new technology, something is going to make a difference in these patients, these seizure disordered children, parents, whatever the case is, that the 30% that are not controlled will have better control or will have a better quality of life. So that being said, over the next probably 5 or 6 years, up until he's about 16, 17, 18, we're doing this with a diastat weekly. So on one occasion, he's about just turning, I think he just turned 18, and we gave him 2 doses of diastat in a single day. We gave him 2 Ativans, I believe, and he was still having the clusters. So we took him to the Children's Hospital because since they saw him prior to him turning 18, they would keep him till he was 21. So we're in the hospital, and they give him more medicine. They dope him up on, or they, stop the seizures with Dilantin. So they give him a ton of that. They get him to stop. A few hours later, he comes out of it, and he's kind of alert, as usually he is afterwards. So the doctors pull us aside, and they start this accusatory tone with us, questioning us as parents, like, why are we giving him all this meds? Why are we doing this? They kind of really got to my wife and I, and we were actually starting to take, offense to what they were saying and what they were accusing, and we knew where they were going. And we said, you know what, this is just the way it's been for years. We have nothing to do with this. So in the meantime, they had put him, they did an EEG on him, and they said, we don't think that these are seizures that he's having. We think they're pseudo seizures, which are false, or a phantom seizure that really is more psychological, because we saw psychologists over the years. They wanted him to do certain things, and he didn't really want to have anything to do with it. So they said, we're going to have to wean him off of this diastat once and for all. And we said, okay, what are you going to do? You're going to do it here? And they said, no, they don't have the resources. They've never done it. They were going to send him to Western Psych, which is a hospital in Pittsburgh. And we said, okay, we can go, we'll look into it, we can stay over. In the meantime, the doctors had called them And they said, absolutely not. Parents, he's 18, they're not allowed to stay. I says, well, is he going to be strapped down into a bed because he has seizures? He's going to fall out. He's going to land on a hard tile floor. And they're like, no, no, no. And we're like, whoa, wait a second. So in the meantime, I had really been praying that God works this entire thing out. And the miracle that God performed in this was that Western Psych came back and said, no, we will not take him for this instant. That right there was a sign and a signal for Children's Hospital to do it. So Children's Hospital actually took it upon themselves to take care of this. So over the next couple days, they saturated his level with 90 milligrams the first day of Valium, and over the next few days, they brought the level down. Now, I have a nephew who's a doctor, and I asked him about that, and he says, yeah, you hit the saturation point, and then you work your way down. So over 5 or 6 days, they worked it from 90 milligrams down to about 10 the last day, and then 0 after that. And they sent us home. And praise God, after that, a miracle was happening. The pseudo seizures seemed to go away. We never really had to use the diastat after that. Now, we also used, he has Klonopin right now that he uses because he still has some other non-speaking type seizures that last here and there, and they only happen about once a month, and he takes one little pill and they stop, and he's able to function through those. But that whole incident with Children's Hospital and how they were kind of focusing on, they're thinking that we're bad parents and they're telling us we're doing stuff wrong. Again, like I said, we didn't like that. So that was an incredible journey right there. 4 or 5 more days in the hospital, going back and forth with the doctors, Western Psych, everything, denying him, and God answering our prayers on that. So I'm at about 7 minutes. So I'm going to end this now. I just want to say, hey, thank you all. God bless. Forgive me for not answering comments if anybody has left them, because I'm having issues trying to get them to be made public. The settings on my iPhone or iPad don't work, so I have to download these to my laptop. So I'll get this figured out in the next couple weeks. So God bless. Have a wonderful day. The next one will be heading into his second brain surgery. Have a good day, everyone.